Hello and welcome to ISU Alumni Town Hall. I'm Scott Turner. I'm the president of the ISU Alumni Board. Joining me today as co-host is Ryan Sargent, Executive Director of Alumni Relations and Advancement Communications. Ryan?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this Alumni Town Hall. We're so excited to be able to highlight the College of Science and Engineering and some of the great things that are happening there, and to show you a really innovative project that helps not only educate our students, but provide important services and opportunities for our local first responders. If you haven't already, please sign up for the Alumni Association. You can do that for free at isu.edu/alumni to stay in the loop with all of these type of alumni events. But great seeing you all, and I'll kick it back to you, Scott.
Thank you. Town Hall is brought to you by the Idaho State Alumni Association. It serves as an information source about what's happening on campus and what's happening at ISU. Today, we have two special guests. We have Scott Snyder, the Dean of the College of Science and Engineering, and Professor Mustafa Marshal, who has some very interesting and project information for us all to see what he's up to. So with that being said, welcome Scott and Mustafa. Scott, the floor is yours.
Well, hey, thank you very much, Scott. And Ryan, thank you for pulling this together. As Scott said, I am Dean of the College of Science and Engineering here at ISU. We have in the college 11 different departments and programs, about 1,300 students, and some 150 faculty and instructional staff that make the students achieve, or that help the students achieve their dreams. And you're going to hear here in a moment from one of our superstars, Dr. Marshal, about the good work that he and his students are doing. And I think maybe that's the one thing that I want to emphasize here today is all of you as alums of ISU were students here at one time, perhaps even before the College of Science and Engineering was formed. And I'm sure that you sensed it now, and it remains true today, that students are really at the center of what we do here at ISU and in the College of Science and Engineering. In our college, we have programs that range from the bachelor's degree up through the PhD. And of course, that's been really disrupted in the last year by the global pandemic. And one of the things that I wanted to just mention briefly before I turn the floor over to Dr. Marshal is the hard work that our faculty, our staff, and our students have done to make a sudden and abrupt transition from the kinds of education that you all are familiar with, the hands-on in the classroom, the hands-on in the laboratory, the experience of working with a professor on a project, into and abruptly again, a very much a distance and remote opportunity that we had in the fall, or in the spring. In the spring, we basically took everybody off of campus and brought that in-person instruction to a halt. In the fall and this spring again, though, we have reintroduced in-person learning. Some of our classes are remote, some of them are what they call hybrid, but most of our labs, and this is where I'm particularly proud of the college, are in person. And those of you with a math, science, engineering background know that it's the learning that you do in those labs in person that really carries with you for most of your life. So I'm very proud of that. We're really looking forward to next fall when things return to the sound of wood knocking, something like normal. And we can get everybody back on campus and see you all at football games and all the fun stuff that we do in more normal times. A couple of things, and then I'll turn it over. We are really working on partnerships here in the college. I saw Bob Boston, who's a proud alum of ISU, on, and hi, Bob. We are working very closely with the Department of Energy, who Bob works for now, with Idaho National Lab and with various industries to form partnerships for the benefit of our students. Dr. Marshal will be talking about a specific example of that. But as you listen and thinking about the people that you have connections with, I would be happy to touch base with all the alums if they have ideas for other industry partners, both here in Idaho and elsewhere, that the college could join up to help, to provide workforce, to provide research, all of the different things that we're capable of really doing for and with industry. One of the pleas that I will also put out to you is to consider giving to the college. We have a couple of funds in particular, although there are many more, and Rich Ballou, our Director of Development, has joined in on the call, but a couple of the broader funds are the Dean's Excellence Fund, which we use to support students in a variety of different endeavors to further their education, and a new fund that Rich and I have set up in the last couple of years since I became Dean, which is called STEM is You. And this is really meant to provide scholarships to bring students who don't typically find themselves in the STEM fields into STEM. And Rich and I would be more than happy to talk to you about that. Right now, a lot of our students are suffering problems, economic problems related to the pandemic. And so this time, like no other, is an excellent opportunity to help those students get to ISU and to complete their education. So with that, I will turn it over to one of our most enthusiastic faculty, or maybe I'll turn it back to you, Scott, however you want to do it. But I just want to give kudos to Dr. Marshal. Mustafa's been with us for, I think, 4 or 5 years now, Mustafa, and is just absolutely lighting the place up and changing the educational landscape of the college and the university.
Mustafa, go ahead.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone today and for the nice words, Scott Snyder. So today I would like to give you an introduction to this project, Disaster Response Complex. I hope everybody can see the full screen, no problem. Is there any issue, or is everyone can? Okay. So this project, today I'm going to cover some information about it and give you some details and some upcoming plans for this project. The summary for the project is on this slide. It's a grant. It's a research project from Idaho State Board of Education, and it's sponsored as part of the Higher Education Research Council, or HERC, Idaho Global Entrepreneurial Mission, known as HERC IGEM. The funding is given to ISU only. The award amount is just shy of $1.1 million and is given over 3 years. There have been also investment from ISU so far, additional $200,000 towards a student tuition, a student stipend for this project. Our two partners in the original proposal for this project are the National and Homeland Security Directorate at the Idaho National Laboratory, and the second partner is the Center for Advanced Energy Studies. For those of you who have heard CASE, you already probably know it's a consortium. For those first time hearing it, CASE is a research, education, and innovation consortium consisting of INL, ISU, BSU, University of and University of Wyoming. The project personnel for the DRC are listed here. So myself, I'm the principal investigator. Dr. Bruce Savage is the co-PI. He's also the department chair for civil and environmental engineering at ISU, and Jared Contrell, our project manager, research engineer. Just to provide you some background about this project, we noticed that there have been significant increase in emergency and disaster training post 9/11. For instance, the number of responders nowadays we have are way larger than what was pre 9/11. DRC started back in 2017 with 10,000 seat grant from CASE. We had some collaborative meetings up at Idaho National Lab, and that's where the idea was born, and that's where I met my collaborators from the National Homeland Security at INL. We used the seed funding to do some visits in order to educate ourselves. What are these training facilities around the country, how they look like, what they're doing. So we did some travels to Montana, Washington, and we went and visited CDP, the Center for Domestic Preparedness in Anniston, Alabama. That's a facility that I believe they have trained more than 1 million responders since late 90s, and they were training more than 1,500 people every month. That's a Department of Homeland Security site. Pretty impressive with the facility they have, like full-scale hospital and all training situations that people can take advantage of, is set up as realistic as possible. We also noticed that there are several of these other facilities around the country. Most of these facilities are either public or private, but they are located on the other side of the country, to the east side, some to the south. And we noticed that the northwestern United States, there is nothing. There's no training center to train our first responders community, both from local fire departments or military. So we saw the opportunity there, and that's where the proposal to IGM-HERC was submitted. To give you some details about the DRC itself, DRC, or Disaster Response Complex, has 3 pillars. The first pillar of the project is research. We're using our students in civil engineering and mechanical engineering to do the design and construction of different training lanes, different scenarios for disasters. But we are being creative. We are using precast concrete modular units. Why we do that is because we can change the lanes quickly based on scenario. We don't want to put something permanent that somebody or a group who trains once, next time, they train second time, but you have to change it because situations evolve, as you know, both human-made and natural. So we're using that modular concept here to change lanes or put lanes together quickly and demount them, and that requires obviously engineering, design, and construction. We also have indoor and outdoor facilities for this. Other research areas, using of hazmat surrogates markers, because imagine, if there's a facility that houses such material and it collapses, again, that aspect of training where you combine hazmat and a collapse structure, that is something we noticed is quite unique. And then the use of new technologies for saving lives, including augmented reality, virtual reality, GIS system, robotics, SUAVs, and emerging response. We have several collaboration going on those fronts for the DRC. The second pillar is curriculum and certification. And for this pillar, we basically offer courses and training for emergency responders in Idaho or beyond Idaho. And obviously, we're trying to promote this pillar also as part of public-private partnerships. So we have responders, for instance, come and taking a class 3 to 4 days, or some classes could be shorter, and the classroom hands-on experience. And then our ultimate goal for this pillar is to obtain certification and start giving CEUs, continuing education units, and develop new programs in disaster response. We have seen how much other centers around the country have grown, since their inception for disaster response, and we would like to make the DRC more comprehensive, build up on what we have already. The last pillar of the project is the training and exercise, and that's when we're going to have our facilities for this project available for local responders from fire departments, law enforcement, Idaho National Guard, and military personnel across the country to conduct training. So we basically have the facility available for them. They have their own instructors and they come and do their training. Could be one-day training, could be multiple-day training. What are the objectives for us at ISU for this? We would like to have students involved in all 3 pillars of the project. We know our mission, we are an education institution, and we would like to have this project integrated, and that aspect of having students involved in each pillar, we take it seriously, and that's what we have been doing so far, and we would like to continue and build on that. We'd like to collaborate with stakeholders, partners from civilian military sectors on all 3 pillars, engage alumni, spread the word. This is the only facility of its kind in the Northwestern United States. We welcome engagement by alumni and taking the word out there to our community and through the state of Idaho. Have the DRC as a long-term asset to our community of emergency responders and state of Idaho, and make it self-sustaining. So it shouldn't be a project that when the funding runs out, everything shuts down. No, we don't want to do that thing. We would like to have this place over there, for us to train our first responders community and make sure that we continue the project. Why it's a unique project, some of the aspects of the DRC are noted there. As I mentioned, only facility of its kind in the Northwestern US. We have an outdoor collapse structure. We have nearly 3 acres outdoor path for staging and other needs for larger scale exercises and use of modular components to put lanes quickly. We also have an indoor facility where we can do year-round training, and then again, combining collapse structure with hazmat surrogates or markers. Again, that's another unique aspect that we would like to explore. And training and public gathering, ISU has some fantastic gathering places like Holt Arena or Stephen Performing Arts Center. And if they are available, we would incorporate them towards training. For instance, sweeping of a stadium before like an event like today, inauguration in the country. So again, ISU has other facilities that could be used for training of first responders if they're available. To just show you some of the information about the training lanes for the outdoor facility, there are two phases in it. First phase, we were putting three training lanes, the subterranean lane, so where you have to crawl in a complex tunnel under rubble. Then there's a vehicle rescue and shoring where there's, you have a vehicle trapped or you have a concrete panel that's unstable. It's kind of secure to Connex, but it looks unstable and people have to shore it up in order to make it stable. So it's kind of like a simulation. And then obviously for phase number 2, we would like to expand on those training lanes, have the high angle rope rescue, derail train. Now, where these training lanes came from, we actually gathered feedback from Idaho National Guard, from Office of Emergency Management, from our local fire departments before putting anything like this here. So we incorporated their feedback in construction. Where this is located, the outdoor DRC is located on 1905 American Road. So if you know the Accelerator Center, so Accelerator Center is over here where I'm pointing with my mouse, the American Road. If you just go up, this is ISU Business Parks here, and just to the left of our marker here is the location of the disaster response complex. Now, about a year and a half ago, there was nothing out there, and all the progress you have seen happen during the pandemic. We worked hard to make sure the project is on track, and now it looks like this. You see the disaster response complex, the fence around it. Those concrete pieces that you see piled up here on the left are modular units that we can use to put different training lanes. And where you see these other complex tunnel, these are where the training lanes are. Like for instance, this is a subterranean lane. The Connex will also have an shoring lane attached to it, and there will be a vehicle rescue training lane coming up there. The rest of the area that you see is for staging. We noticed that National Guard, sometimes when they do trainings, they need more staging area for their equipment, for their tents and other communication. And that's why the size of that facility is larger to accommodate them. Since we started construction and put this, we have started training too. We don't want things to just sit there. So we were, despite all the challenges of pandemic, we were very happy to see that the facility was being used. This is from late last year, where we had students from College of Tech EMT program came and using the DRC. Some of you may have already seen the PR on it. We also had the opportunity to host training for Pocatello Fire Department. We had the urban search and rescue. And I just want to bring your attention to that quote from the captain of the training. We can train 25 guys here today for the money it takes to send to a class in Texas, because they had to go to College Station to do training like this because there was no facility in Idaho. But now we have it here in Pocatello. So it was pretty good experience for us to see these guys training, and also learning about their training and their training needs. We also have the indoor DRC facility, the Armory building, and that's what we have been working nowadays on. Most of you already seen the building. It's from 1939, National Guard Armory, and then it served as the ISU College of Tech diesel program for quite a number of years. And then the building was given to us and assigned for the DRC building last August. Now, just think of a situation that we are getting an old building that served the National Guard, and now we are trying to turn it back to serve the National Guard mission and serve our first responders community. That is what we want to do. We want to get that building to go back and serve these people. So inside that building, there's a high bay area, and there we are planning to put a mock-up city block, a full scale. So when you go inside the high bay area, you would think that you're somewhere in a downtown area, somewhere in a big city in the US, and it will have the cars, it will have the storefront. And as you can see, some of the sketches there, construction is still going on, and we will use that city block for trainings indoor. So that basically complements the outdoor facility. And just last weekend, we used the indoor DRC to train about a dozen canine dogs from Snake River Search and Rescue. We were very proud to see that building is being used. And these dogs, will save lives when people are getting stranded, or if there's an earthquake hitting the city and people are trapped under the rubble. We need these resources. Additional training simulation venues, as I mentioned, are around the Idaho State University could be available if there's nothing else going on. We have touch base with folks at ISU about it. Holt Arena, Stephen Performing Arts Center. It just depends on what kind of training the client or the person who wants to come and use it would like to do. But in addition to indoor and outdoor facility, we have these other opportunities around the campus. Just to make a few conclusions about this project, the DRC is a unique facility in Idaho and in the northwestern United States. It's an integrated complex where students are involved in all three pillars. You will notice that some of you, if you want to come and visit us, that how many students right now are working on this. We have more than 2 or 3 dozen students right now involved on this project, and it's benefiting them in different ways, research or different skills, design skills, construction. Despite all the challenges, we have made good progress in the project, and we started training people. There are more trainings coming up in 2021. We already have several events scheduled, well, pending COVID situation and the restrictions. We would like to make sure that the facility is there to serve the first responders community. And obviously construction of additional lanes are coming up too. And we are welcoming you. We're welcoming you to come and engage with us, alumni community in particular, our local regional responders. Just reach out. If you want to know more, you want to come and take a look at it, please contact us, and our contact details are here. Those are the project personnel, my colleague, Dr. Bruce Savage and Jared Cantrell. You can reach out to any of us. You can also go on the website for the DRC if you want to obtain more information about the training lanes. So come and visit us. And with that, I conclude my presentation and be happy to answer any questions with my other colleagues who are joining us on Zoom. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. We did have a couple of questions come in, some of them about midway through your presentation. So I think you've answered or at least touched on some of these answers already. But one of our first questions that came in had to do with when the complex would be ready for use. I know that you mentioned some groups, some EMT students and the fire department and the canines using the facility, but maybe you could speak more to that, of specifically what type of groups are going to be using it and how frequently you expect the complex to be in use.
Thank you. I would like to have Jared Cantrell, if you want to answer that question, because you have been at the forefront of that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. So as far as open for use, I mean, we can relatively handle exercises right now. We're open to a facility use agreement. That's what we've done recently with obviously the EMT and Pocatello Fire Department as well as Snake River Research. So, or Snake River Search. So like I say, if they have facility use, they want to run a training as far as the rubble pile or the indoor facility. They have their own instructors and stuff. We can certainly accommodate that. And then beyond that, we are working with some private entities to offer specific training courses and such, including INL and others. So those are in development right now. So we're working towards that. Like I said, we're hopefully getting some curriculum out in the next 3 months as far as our private entities in that sense. So like I said, we are operating right now. The indoor facility should be fully operational by April of this year as far as the city block goes. So.
We had another question that referenced the Idaho State Journal article and the different phases that were discussed in that article. And I know you touched on those as well. Question is, what phase is the DRC in right now? And when do you expect the city block to be completed on the indoor facility?
Jared, would you like to continue on that because you're managing the construction?
Yeah. So like I said, the indoor city block should definitely be completed by April, up and running, operational in that sense. Obviously, the thing about the DRC is it's a constantly changing environment. So the outdoor rubble pile will either change or readjust depending on the training necessary or needed at that time. We're continuing to add lanes on the outdoor side, but the indoor will be up and running this April and operation all through the summer and into the fall as well. And then beyond that, the outdoor site is obviously got an active rubble pile right now that's being improved and added upon with Connex scenarios and additional scenarios as needed. We have a permanent trench coming in this summer as well, as far as construction there goes. So lanes will be continued to add it as we go. We're probably still in the initial construction phases of getting everything kind of the prelim set as far as the first few lanes.
Awesome. You've mentioned a couple of times how you want alumni to get involved. What is the most important thing that our alumni and supporters of COSI and Idaho State, what can we do to support the complex and help it really grow into a preeminent resource for the Northwest?
Bruce, would you like to take that question, please?
Well, I'll throw my opinion in here and then others can add to that. But I think it'd just be really great if alumni can get the word, help us get the word out. We have alumni spread all over the place. And if they just let people know that this facility is available and it provides a great opportunity to help those first responders and to increase training and capabilities, specifically in the Northwest, but across the whole country, we're looking at trying to bring in some capabilities with INL that are unique to other training facilities. And so if they just, if they're working in an area that it's tied to this, and if they just let people know that, hey, there's this facility available, have you thought about using that? Reach out to us and we're fairly flexible. We can adjust these sites to meet their needs.
So, and Bruce, forgive me, Ryan, but I think it's really important to note here that the other thing alumni can do for us is if you know high school students, middle school students who are thinking about going on to a career in science or engineering, because I know that this facility incorporates, Mustafa and Bruce are civil engineers, but there's opportunity for mechanical engineers, for electrical engineers, for nuclear engineers, and for other disciplines, geosciences, for example, for students to come to ISU and help work in this facility in some capacity. And so one of the big things, in addition to setting us up with industry connections, is also send your students our way.
Thank you both. The final question that's come in is there a cost for outside organizations to use the facility?
Jared, would you like to take that, please?
Yes, there is a cost associated with that right now. And as we're in the first 3 years of the DRC itself, so we've got some internal funding that kind of provides time and everything. But beyond that, if I have student hours to build a certain scenario or build a lane and set up, provide the facility operations for that training, we do have to cover that cost and have a facility charge on top of that. So it's dependent on the training and what's required during that event, as far as the cost associated with it goes.
Great, thanks, Jared. Well, it looks like we have about 90 seconds left. I don't want to cut it off if there's someone who's got a question that hasn't sent it in yet. Is there anyone that wants to ask a final question to wrap up our town hall today? All right, if not, thank you for tuning in, and we'll kick it back to Scott Turner, our alumni president.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I want to thank both of you for your presentation today. Considering the times we live in, it's so great to see an applied science that will benefit all. And that goes a long way. And when you talk to alumni, and Scott, I think that the alumni would be responsive. And Rich, I think in the long run, this is a great item to put out there for development, because people see the benefit of it. You know, a lot of times I think people generally look at College of Science and Engineering and go, whoa, math, don't know anything about it. And I think right now you're talking about something that talks to all of us, talks to everyone. And I just really am impressed. And Mustafa, thank you very much for all you've done and locally for ISU. And Scott, this is a wonderful program. And I want to thank all of you for your presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you all. We want to remind everybody the recording of the town hall will be posted on the alumni Facebook page later this afternoon. So, please share that with your friends and colleagues that may be interested in learning a little bit more about COSI and the DRC. So thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.